So, hello there. I'm just listening to my spa radio station and I'm just sitting in my car relaxing. It is about 1:20. I clocked out for lunch around 1 o'clock. Today seems to be a good day. I have been trying hard to, stay stable and not have any panic. Last night I took medication to sleep. I took Klonopin. I wound up taking a half and then a full, not too far off from each other because I was experiencing, I guess you could say, some panic attack. I don't really know what's happening lately, but here's my problem. Okay, let's get into it. So, ever since I got a little bit older and ever since my body started changing, this sounds ridiculous because with me being almost, approaching I'm in my late 30s, okay? Let's just put it that way. I noticed that I've had a couple of things happen in my 37th year, which was this past year. Between me being on Semiglutide to try and lose weight, and also developing rosacea, like really bad. Like I've had rosacea flare-ups, a lot worse than ever. It was one of the hottest summers that I can ever recall in Florida. I was miserable because I was constantly sick to my stomach, and I was constantly in and out of the emergency room because I was taking the semaglutide and it was slowing the gastric processes of my stomach, and I was constantly feeling either nauseated or else I was not drinking enough, to a point that I was really sick and throwing up. And I mean, it almost looked like The Exorcist sometimes. At night I'd wake up in the middle of the night, and I didn't realize this, but I also was having low blood pressure drops because I noticed that when I was losing the weight, my blood pressure was changing. So I had a combination of things going on. Semaglutide, losing weight, my medication, my psychiatric medication that I take for bipolar depression, along with severe PMDD, along with the anxiety and panic. And then the sensation of whenever I felt sick to my stomach and I felt like I was going to throw up, I kind of felt like I was going to pass out at the same time. I think whenever I have a physical illness, it affects me neurologically, and then I wind up getting panic attacks as a result of it. Now the reason why I'm bringing this up is because my panic attacks have changed from being hyperventilating and crying to becoming something else over the year. Now it has become to a point where at night in my bed, I might experience what's called a nocturnal panic attack, where I'm sleeping or I'm resting, and then in the middle of the night I wake up and I feel like I can't catch my breath, or I feel like I have chest tightness, and I notice that I'm sweating profusely, and then I become excessively thirsty. And then I realize I'm feeling like I'm gonna pass out. Like I'm almost afraid to go to sleep because I'm afraid that I'm gonna lose consciousness, if that makes any sense. Because I feel that fuzzy-headedness, not like, oh, I'm gonna go to sleep, but I actually feel fuzzy-headed to my head. But yesterday, just to kind of fill in the story here, why I'm bringing this up is because last night was one of the nights that it happened. It was one of many I've been experiencing lately, and it's becoming quite alarming, and I don't have many answers for it. I had to leave work 2 hours early because sometime around the 2-hour mark after I was done eating, which was around 6 o'clock, is when it started to hit me. A little bit before 6, I should say, because I had my lunch at 3 yesterday. I got back at 4, and a little bit before 5, I started feeling sick. I had heart racing. My heart was racing. I was experiencing hot and cold chills. I felt like my heart was beating and I wasn't even doing anything. I wasn't feeling stressed out. I wasn't feeling like crying or anything like that. And I just felt like I was going to kind of get lightheaded or like fuzzy headed and felt like I could have passed out or like I needed to lay down. I didn't like that feeling that I had in my chest. And it was scary because, you know, sometimes you have this feeling of impending doom, which the impending doom feeling I had said is more like, that's my best friend. It's more like experiencing symptoms of, oh my gosh, I'm gonna die because of the fact that I'm feeling this way. What if something bad happens because I'm feeling this way? So I don't know if you've ever experienced that before or what your experience is like when you have any kind of incidents like that. But it can be pretty bad. It can get pretty bad. I was looking up some side effects of some of the medication that I take, like lamotrigine, for example, which is a mood stabilizer. It can actually cause problems with thinking and processing information. It can create almost like foggy headedness. It can also make you have trouble speaking or getting the words out, which I have that a lot. So I know that the medication that I take does have altering effects on me, but I'm upset because as a result of taking the semiglutide, I lost a lot amount of weight in 1 year. I had lost about 50 pounds. And then what I wound up doing is I had my gallbladder felt like it was going to explode. I didn't realize that it was on the verge of infection, and it was also on the verge of exploding because the bile ducts were blocked by some gallstones. And the pain that I felt was almost like as if right underneath the rib cage, as if I was being jousted. It felt like I was being stabbed in the gut. And that actually had started about an hour, maybe 30 minutes to an hour. It actually started about an hour before I was supposed to leave on the eve of December 14th. So I went to the emergency room. I didn't want to really leave. I was hoping and praying that I could wait it out, but I was having the same physical symptoms of panic. And I said, something doesn't feel right. And then I started experiencing the pain. And then I felt like a twist. It went like, ow. And then it went, ow. And then you could feel it again, ow. And then it became pulsating until it became, oh, like gut-wrenching. And then it was just jousting pain. And I'm sitting there like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I just kept repeating, oh my God, because it hurt so bad. I don't know how I drove to the hospital, but I managed to get there safely. As a matter of fact, when I drove, one of the porters over here at Toyota of Claremont had followed me to the hospital, like close to where the entrance is to the hospital. And they went around, they made sure that I was driving okay before they made a U-turn and went back. So I was driving okay. I managed to get down to the back way of the hospital. And at first I pulled into the employee lot, turned out, went around, and then I turned into the next lot. And then I found out that that was the ambulance lot. And I was like, crap. So I turned out and went around again, and then finally went into the guest lot. So then I parked my car, barely could walk because I was like, like this the whole time walking through. And then after that, when I got there in the hospital, I felt really alone. I was sitting there and I was in a lot of pain, and I told the lady, I said, I feel like my pain is about a level 10 right now. And I said, I have a feeling it's my gallbladder, because I asked my mom about it. My mom says that sounds like her gallbladder when she had to take hers out around the same age as me. So the reason why I'm bringing this up is because right after my gallbladder was removed, my dietary sensations started changing. I started getting like loose bowels, and I was told that that's normal to have for the first 2 weeks, but then it started to continue to get worse. And it was on and off, and as a matter of fact, it still is, which is why I have to go to a physician for a colonoscopy, because I still have some digestive issues. I noticed that I had gained back 20 pounds. I have such a high craving for carbohydrates, to a point that I've never had a craving for carbohydrates before, ever. I don't know why, but I want like not so much sugar, I would say. It's like I want like the consistency foods, like a bagel or a bread or a donut. I want like the consistency of that. And it's not so much that I crave sugar, like I have to have candy or anything like that. I don't really crave cookies or anything like that either. I don't really crave potato chips or something like that. It's mostly the bread-based items that my body wants. And I noticed that my face has gotten puffier, my cheeks have gotten redder, my sugar level is fine, my high blood pressure is still gone. I still don't have high blood pressure, but I don't have explanations for the panic attacks. They have changed over the year of 37 years old, and now at 38, I'm experiencing them in very scary kind of ways. It's scary because they are different than the panic attacks that I used to get. That's why it's scary to me. Now, the panic attacks that I used to get, to explain it to you a little bit better, I used to get like this sensation of pressure, like feeling like jittery, and then of course you have the heart rate, but I would sweat, and then I would feel lightheaded, and I would be hyperventilating. Now I don't have that. I don't sweat, and I don't hyperventilate. I've had maybe one hyperventilating panic attack, and it was only once. Now I have what I consider, it feels almost like you could say the stereotypical, am I having a heart attack or am I dying kind of thing. It's scary, and I'm looking for answers as to why this happened. And I was wondering, does it have a combination of the fact that I was on the semiglutide and I had lost a rapid weight loss, which caused me to have the gallbladder problem, and then the gallbladder removal, and then my diet, because of last year being sick all the time and in and out of the emergency room and constant dehydration, because you just couldn't eat, you couldn't really drink anything, plus of the hot summer. And I'm like, there could be a combination of all of that mixed in with the adjustments of medications, all kinds of like psychiatric crap. So I don't know, I'm just hoping that I can figure this out, and I'm hoping that I can find a solution to this problem, because it is now affecting me when I sleep, and I haven't really talked to anybody about it, so you're like the first person who I'm really talking to about this, and it's to the void. Hi Valerie, or whoever reading this, watching this, my future self, whatever. So I mean, I've mentioned it briefly to my husband, and I've mentioned him briefly to my doctor and to my counselor, but it's scary when you wake up in the middle of the night and you're sweating and your heart rate is through the roof and you feel sick. And it feels similarly to when I was on the Semiglutide before I was going to vomit. But this time I wake up and I am drenched in sweat. And I've never done that before. So I'm like, what the heck is going on? Is this hormones? I mean, is it because I'm 38 years old now? Am I premenopausal? I was told no. Because I had asked about that in my last gynecology visit, and I talked to them about it. They said they don't think it's that. So what? I was told check with my psychiatrist and talk with them. So I have to look deeper into it and figure out what the heck is going on, because I was told take Klonopin 3 times a day, half in the morning, half in the afternoon, and a full pill at night. But do you really think that I'm a pill popper? No, I don't like doing that. I don't like having to take that medication because, number one, I don't want my body to become used to it. I don't know what that word is. It's when your body becomes immune to it. It becomes ineffective. And then you have to increase the dose in order for it to start working. And number two, I don't want to have to rely on that medication to keep my body from losing its shit. I mean, part of my French, but it wasn't French, it was bad English. But yeah, I mean, I'm trying very hard to find an answer, and I really was hoping that by putting out this message and speaking about it, that I can maybe look at it later and listen to myself and maybe see if I can find an answer to give myself about what's going on and try and provide some assistance. Because sometimes you are your own best counselor. Sometimes when you talk and you listen to yourself, you know, sometimes you might say later on, holy crap, like, this girl's crazy, like, what the heck is she doing? Or you might look at her like, girl, you got problems, like, what the heck is wrong with you? And then later on you're like, oh, I feel so bad, I'm making fun of myself. And then there's other times where I'm like, I have an answer for that, and let me write it down. I know what I'm doing now. So I guess to finalize my video, I could say Semiglutide led me to losing 50 pounds. I was like 204, 205 pounds when I first started. I dropped down to about 154, 155, I think it was. I forgot how much it was. I gained about 20 pounds back. I had lost my gallbladder, and I was taking off blood pressure medications. My physical health, I guess in some sense, for that was improving. Except for now I'm having these weird versions of panic. And I used to have terrible nighttime anxiety, death anxiety. And then slowly that went away. And I don't experience, I think it's called thanatophobia, where you fear of death, yourself dying, feeling the death. experiencing the death or fearing the mourning of, or the grief, fearing having to face that of losing someone you love, such as your mother or your father, your sister, your brother, or relative. I had experienced that very intensely, and now I don't experience it as intense. I have this new thing, and I don't have a name for it other than, number 1, nocturnal panic attacks, number 2, inflamed face rosacea, flare-ups, and it makes your face feel like it's on fire. Like your whole face in here feels like it's burning. So I use this medication and it helps to deal with it. I put it on twice a day from the dermatologist. That helps. But when the face gets really that hot, you start to feel sick. You get really tired. And then you get the hot and cold chills in between. And I'm like, the more and more that I kind of put this together, even speaking right now, I feel like something has to be hormonal. Because why else am I having these weird night sweats? The hot and cold chills, face flare-ups. I don't understand it. I know I've had rosacea for a long time. I've had it for many years. People used to be like, oh, you're blushing. Me, I'm like, no, my face is always like this. So I said, I gotta figure it out because it's getting annoying. I also noticed another thing. When it comes to my process addiction, as far as wanting to buy stuff, I don't really have that as much as I used to. I'm starting to take much more appreciation into the things that I already do have. And I said, if I were to purchase something, I have to ask myself, am I going to use this before I just buy it? And I feel like that has saved me a lot. I've already been, and I'm very proud of myself, I don't even know if my husband knows, I've already been in stores where I said I like things, but I told myself, just because I like it doesn't mean I need to buy it. And I think I've said that to him, because there are plenty of things that I've liked, and I'm like, oh, I wish I had that, but then I'm like, would I ever use it? No. Just because it looks pretty doesn't mean I need it or want it. And then I felt like I had some sense of empowerment because of it. I feel like I'm in a better position. So process addiction is getting better. I don't have the same problem as much as I used to because I'm not as depressed, so I'm not looking for the little things that make me go, wee, that gives me a little bit of a high because I have something new. Because sometimes when you live the life that I live and you don't really have a whole lot really going for you, it's hard to look around the bigger picture and to say, I could save this money and use that towards buying an RV so that when we want to go to New Jersey, we can just hop in the RV with our animals and go to New Jersey, and I can go visit my old stomping grounds and not feel guilty. That kind of thing, because I don't want to fly. Sorry. I'm not into airplanes. Let me stop the car. I gotta get ready to go, because it's like 1:50. But I'm glad that I was able to take this time with you and explain to you my thoughts and my feelings. I will get back to you and I will talk more about what it is that I'm feeling, and get more in depth about everything. So see if I can kind of clear my thoughts even more and see where it leads me. So thank you for listening, and I will talk to you later. Take care. Bye.